Hey everybody, who's your Jedi here with another review for you. This time I'm talking episode 11 of season 7 of Dexter. 7-Eleven. Yeah. And that is the episode Do You See What I See? Now, thankfully this show seems to be back on its game after the general crap fest that was the last episode. In fact, there's some really nice punches that come this episode. So, I guess we can I guess I can. Well, no, I really can't forgive this all the stupid crap from last episode. But I will happily talk about the good stuff in this episode rather than dwell on that. And there is a lot to talk about. So to just try and keep some semblance of order and reason to this, let's just do what we always do: dive right in, start talking about the characters, and we'll take things from there. Let's start on the low end of the pool. Let's talk about the guys who were sort of more in the background this time around, and then we'll move up to our main characters and what was happening with them. So, since I guess he was probably the lowest man on the totem pole this time around, let's talk about Batista. Well, once again, he's got genuine concerns about a situation and stuff like this, and then Deb comes along and just, you know, pees all over him, we shall say, because I prefer to keep things relatively clean around here. And, at this point, telling lies and other stuff it's really just kind of become disturbingly second nature to Deb at this point, which is a stark contrast to her as at the start of this season when she was first having to adjust to things. Deb has finally found her footing on the new status quo that she must walk as the guardian of Dexter's secret. Earlier this season we saw her feeling some serious angst when she had to lie to Batista and manipulate him in order to protect Dexter. At this point, Deb just doesn't care anymore. And looking at that, is it really so hard that Batista wants to call it quits? I mean, I don't think he's going to have a very significant role in the next episode unless it's as a surprise death, which frankly would be pretty cheesy. I mean, seriously, the whole, killed the day before he was due to retire or some such nonsense? Come on, I'll give, bad episode or not last time around, I give the writers of Dexter more credit than to go, you know, that cliche on us. I mean, for God's sakes, I mean, this isn't McBain the movie. But anyway, we get another scene with him and LaGuerta, which is mostly just to remind us that he and LaGuerta were married for a while. And I love the second he says, "Oh, so do you think you might still have some, that you think that, us breaking up might have not been such a great idea?" LaGuerta is like, "No." She doesn't even really seem sorry about it. I mean, I understand she doesn't want Angel to hold out false hope or anything like that, but that just seemed like horribly dismissive of the man. Whatever else you can say about that relationship, Angel did seem to be the one who was the most firmly on board with it. And, yeah. Man, I'm sorry. I really got to come down on Angel's side on that one. LaGuerta came out of that looking really bad, the way she seemed to have treated him. But then again, them getting divorced happened off screen, so, well, you make your comments with what you got to work with, right? But still, it was nice that he had a scene that was really just kind of about him and what was going on with his world, and we get to hear him talk about why he likes being a restaurant manager and all this other stuff. So, you know what, personally, I'm fine with them saying goodbye to Angel this way. He walks out of Miami Metro and goes and he gets to live his happy life at his restaurant. We have the cops from Miami Metro turning up there, so he could maybe be a guest star from time to time the next season. Or maybe even help out with a subplot kind of like Tom did this time around. I think that would be a pretty good way to use Angel from this point on. Now, let's go and do our usual talk about Quinn. Amazingly enough, I don't really have a whole lot to say about Quinn this time around. Except for the fact, Quinn, you made her an accomplice to a murder and put her in a situation where the Ukrainian mom would have not exactly bad reasons to maybe want her dead. Do you really think Nadia was gonna hang around Miami? I mean, what did you think she was gonna do? Just go back to your place and go, throw a woohoo where I'm free party? I mean, seriously, dude. The situation just doesn't work like that. Not only is she going to want to get the heck out of Miami just so she can make sure that the Koshkas don't come after her. Again, dude, because of you, she's tied to what is unquestionably a murder. I mean, she saw you murder a guy in cold blood right in front of her. Dude, Quinn, no matter what else you've done for her up to that point, that pretty much not only negates it. You ever see those that old footage of them setting off nuclear bombs out in the Pacific? Okay, imagine the kind of hole something like that leaves. That's about where Quinn is now with Nadia. And the fallout in some ways is even worse. So yeah, dude, you're lucky that Nadia is on the same continent as you. One of the things you specifically told her to do after you killed Michael was to get her passport and a buttload of cash out of that safe. You're lucky that woman is not in Australia at this point, rather than Vegas. So yeah, Quinn, you suck, man. You really do. You're like one of the worst boyfriends ever for many, many women. I actually think Nadia might have been better off in a relationship with Masuka than she was with Quinn. But yeah. Okay, so Tom, let's talk about him briefly. I gotta say, I really had forgotten what such a great character Tom was. I mean, he's an older dude, but he is a smart fella and a good cop. And he knows just how to come at Dexter to catch him off guard so Dexter does not immediately catch on that he's the Bay Harbor Butcher. And even when Dexter does realize that Tom is indeed interrogating him, he's still not 100% sure if Tom is on his side or LaGuerta's. Now, at the end of it all, it seems to me pretty firmly that Tom genuinely does not believe that Dexter is the Bay Harbor Butcher and that LaGuerta is wrong. So, yeah, I did like that. And as I've said, I do like seeing Tom and LaGuerta, kind of bouncing off each other. It really is something that actually makes LaGuerta, for the first time in quite a long time, an interesting character. And again, I just really enjoyed Tom as a character. I don't think we're going to be getting to see him too much after this, but bringing him back the way they did, really nice way to utilize the character, and it really added some spark to the end of this season. But at the end of it all, the character I'm as astonished as anybody. The character who I really have to give it to this episode was LaGuerta. The idea of her using the drug dealer guy as a possible trap to catch Dexter if he was indeed the Bay Harbor Butcher. Oh, I did not see that coming at all. Not in a million years would I have guessed that. And, yeah. Now, LaGuerta has some really serious... a whole shipping container full of proof that, the Bay Harbor Butcher just may still be out and running around. I mean, Tom's reaction to this next episode should be quite impressive. And, oh yeah, a guy who knows for sure that Dexter is the Bay Harbor Butcher is out running around, assuming a shark didn't get him, and Well, come on, we all know that isn't going to happen. There's no drama in that. But yeah, Dexter is in it deep. I mean, pissed off Ukrainian gangster, man, that's nothing compared to this. Dexter is gonna have to do some of the fanciest footwork we have ever seen him pull. I mean, man, we thought Dokes was a problem. Who'd have thought that LaGuerta would be able to pose this kind of a challenge? Man, you know what? If LaGuerta had been like this from the get-go, can you imagine how much better this show would have been? And that's really saying something when you consider just how good the first several seasons of this show were. But I digress. So let me just have a look here. Yeah, one thing, just to sort of start bringing things around to Dexter, Deb, and Hannah, who are our main characters this time around. I was a little weirded out at the beginning when Dexter said that he's never given much thought to getting old. Well, okay, it's true that Dexter's probably never given much thought to being old, but it's certainly not true that Dexter has never given any thought to being old. He has given it some. Remember when the Tooth Fairy turned up? Dexter looked at him and realized, my God, this could be me in 30 years. But, that wasn't really the main theme of what was going on there with Dexter versus the Tooth Fairy. And I have to say, I did really particularly enjoy that episode. I got a real kick out of that one. But, it did cross my mind, so I thought I'd bring that up for you guys. Blah, blah, blah. Tom, yeah, okay. So let's talk about what's going on between Hannah and Deb. Now, of course, Hannah has some pretty good reasons for wanting Deb to get off her butt. Really, she's really what LaGuerta is to Dexter, Deb is to Hannah. Only it's much, much more personal. And it is very much in keeping with Hannah's character that she would try and use the sort of mutual relationship that they have with Dexter to try and get Deb to back off. It's like, look, your brother's in love with me. Can't you let this go and let him be happy? In a way, it is such an interesting dynamic. Here we have Hannah who's in love with Dexter, and we have Deborah who was and maybe still is, and it really is. Who is the woman that I won't say who Dexter should be with. Alright, I don't really do shipping, and honestly the idea of Dexter and Deb as a couple really grosses me out, but it's the question of Hannah in so many ways really should be what it is that Dexter would want from a woman. And he even seems to agree. But the thing is, Hannah, at the end of the day, thinks of herself first. Now, you can make the case that she was trying to get rid of Deborah so that she and Dexter could be happy, but let's face it, is having the one person in his life besides Harrison that he loves the most dead really going to make Dexter happy? I mean, he'd probably eventually be able to accept it. But there would always be an enormous void in his life. I mean, Harry's been gone all half of Dexter's life, but Dexter still imagines him there. It shows that despite all the time that's passed, the loss of Harry still haunts Dexter. So if Hannah had succeeded, really, Dexter would just have two, people roaming around in his head giving him, questionable advice. But she really would not have done anything that would have made Dexter happy. She would have only done something that would have kept her out of jail, and made her happy. Meanwhile, Deb, for all the pain it causes her, is either trying to do what she thinks is best for Dexter, and, well, let's face it, being married to somebody who murders people, if she decides they're inconvenient or that they've pissed her off sufficiently, is, usually not such a great idea. Or again, is just Deborah is just out for regular good old fashioned justice. So at the end of the day, who is it that is able to really bring Dexter happiness? And it's not Hannah. As I said, Hannah, at the end of the day, no matter what she says, it's her actions that are telling. Hannah will harm the people, even will harm anyone who she thinks is a threat to her. And if that includes somebody that Dexter loves, well, she'll try, but if she feels she has no other choice, and I think that's at the end of the day Dexter realizes that he simply cannot 100% trust Hannah. And she does lie to him. Now, granted, she lays out an excellent case as to why she wouldn't have tried to murder Deb. But at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's lies. It's manipulation. It's deceit. I mean, are you really going to tell me that that is what Dexter and Hannah should build their relationship on? Dexter certainly doesn't want to do that. Granted, there's quite a bit of lies and deceit going on here, but no relationship built on stuff like that can really go anywhere. And I think Dexter knows that. And that, along with the fact that, Deb is one of the things that you simply do not mess with in Dexter's universe, that's why he ultimately throws her to the dogs, or to the blues, I guess I should say. And, let's see. Oh yeah, let's just talk about a little bit about Hannah. I kind of had to laugh a little bit at Hannah's insistence that she didn't make mistakes. Okay, if Hannah hadn't made mistakes, she'd have never run off and with some joker, ended up killing some people, and ended up in juvie. If she didn't make mistakes, there would be no witnesses to her poisoning that camp guy. There would not have been such blatantly suspicious circumstances regarding the deaths of her husband and employer. Now, granted, nothing that people can prove, but when it's a known fact that you've already been convicted of murder and stuff, even if it was as a juvenile, if people die around you in a suspicious fashion, yeah, people are going to make the natural assumption. There's the whole, oh yeah, your whole plan to kill Sal Price and have it look like a car accident didn't freaking work. He died in Dexter's apartment. And that was an enormous lucky break for you. Can you imagine what had happened if Sal had stopped off for a big gulp on the way to Dexter's house and he dropped dead in a 7-Eleven? Yeah, that pen would have been laying on the floor next to the Snickers bars, and you'd be on your way to the Florida State Pen. Oh yeah, and don't forget, Hannah, you're committing these crimes in Florida, which last time I checked still has the death penalty, and is basically right up there with Virginia and Texas in enacting it. Seriously, lady, why did you stick around Florida? And then there's the whole, oh yeah, you decided this for all your BS to attempt to murder the sister of the guy you love, who is also a forensics expert, who was a witness to you murdering someone else. I mean, who have you spilled all your secrets to? I mean, seriously, you don't really try and murder the relative of a forensics expert and think that you're going to get away with it no matter how good you are. Oh man. And yeah, I don't really think there's too much chance about Hannah narking on Dexter. He's certainly got plenty of additional information on her that could maybe tie. Well, he's got enough information on her that he could make anything that she's got going on much worse. And like I said, Florida's a death penalty state, so yeah, it's a good old fashioned mutually assured destruction there. It's plus, it's not as if Hannah would be a terribly difficult person to discredit. So yeah, I think Dexter's safe on that regard. So let's see. Actually, amazingly enough, I think I covered everything that I really wanted to talk about. Although, actually, no. As much as I did like this episode, I think they went a little too overboard on hitting us with the, hey, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Now look at all this pain and misery and sadness and terrible things happen to these characters. Wow, what an amazing contrast! Doesn't it just resonate? It's like, okay, look, guys, the idea of tragedy and drama and all this other stuff mixed with Christmas is certainly not anything new in movies or television or really any medium since the modern version of Christmas emerged. I mean, come on. I've seen Gremlins. I get what you're going for here. And no, of course, I'm not saying that in any serious fashion. I just really like the movie Gremlins. But I think they were really just tooting that horn a little loud, shall we say. But anyway, I think we can start wrapping things up here. So, next time around, our big season finale. I think this is gonna be one for the ages. Dexter is in it deep. There's so much stuff that I'm thinking is gonna come to a head, and like I said, I have the feeling that we're gonna get to be treated to at least one major character ended up in a body bag. So yeah, folks, I am majorly looking forward to this finale. Except for the misstep that was last episode, this has been a phenomenal season of Dexter. My faith in the show, in basically every aspect, has been completely restored. And, I'm just loving it. It's stuff like this that just makes me love TV. This makes me love making this video so that I can talk to you about them. Get your guys' comments, get your feedback about what's going on, and all that other stuff. It's just what makes, you know, being a modern fan so fun. And anyway, folks, with that here, we will definitely officially call it good. As always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Hoosier Jedi. Until next time, take care and have a good one.